everyone, long time no see. Welcome if you're new. So if you don't know, I actually did the Disney College program fall of 2024. My arrival was August 5th and unfortunately I did not stay. I left the company in September. It was like middle of September, so I was there about a month and a half. That being said, aside from all of the SAP story and the reason why I'm doing this again, I applied and I have a phone interview on Friday, April 18th. It's the 15th today. So this whole video is going to be like the surprise, hopefully going to the DCP, and then also my phone interview. So you can't record it. I've done it before. They asked me not to, which fair enough. But I already have some questions written down. I kind of forgot a lot because it's been over a year since I did this phone interview. Me and my friend, it's my brother's girlfriend, we actually did it together last year. We applied, did the phone interview together in like February, early February or late January, and we heard back in February, I believe. So that was so exciting. She's not coming with me this time, which I know she's probably watching this, and boo, I wish you could come with me. I kind of accepted that if I'm gonna do this, I need to do it, regardless of who goes with me. I'm going to school for business administration, hospitality, so I really want to work there in the future. So that's the long-term goal, and unfortunately for the professional internship that I want to do, you kind of have to be with Disney beforehand to get there. It's a kind of a competitive internship. I'm gonna go over some of the questions that I wrote down to show you, and then after the interview I'll make sure to let you know any of the questions that I wasn't prepared for. Last time I didn't even mention attractions. I said concierge was my number one, and I never even got to say number 2 or 3, which is I think a big reason why I was placed quick service. It's a need-based thing, but I also know a lot of people do get one of the 3 that they mention. Concierge is not one of the 3 main jobs. The 3 main in this order is quick service, merchandise, and then attractions. Quick service is 30%, attractions is 20%, and then merchandise is 20%. So, and the other 30% is like made up of all the other roles. I also think, and this is a hot take, you may not agree with me, I also think quick service might be the worst role overall. I think I would even prefer custodial. Not that any of them are terrible, but just like personally, that was my least favorite, and of course I got it. So at least I know if I get quick service again, I've done it. So I can mentally only go up from here. Now on to what I mentioned, my little notes. I might have some more, but this is just what I have for now. So obviously the keys of Disney, I've gone through all the training and everything, so I know what they're looking for, sorta. Safety, courtesy, inclusion, show, and efficiency are the big 5 that everybody says to mention or just like bring up in your application or your phone interview, I guess. You remember they go through and they make sure that you're the correct person, you know, they do all that identification stuff, and then they start asking the actual interview questions. I remember I watched a couple videos and made a new list, but I do remember they did ask me if I've ever shared a room and had a roommate. I do. So that will be easy for me. I think they look for that. It's probably not a huge deal if you haven't, but it is a plus if you have. You will be living with people. Same room or different room, you will be living with someone in a shared space. Unless you opt out of Flamingo, which Flamingo I think was really great. So if you're on the fence about that, I think you should stay there at least one program. And then the next question that I do remember them asking is if you've ever had to resolve a roommate conflict. Another big question they ask is why did you choose the DCP? It's different for everybody, so this isn't like a one answer type of thing, but I think the biggest part of getting the role you want, I haven't gotten the role I want, but from others I think the biggest thing is trying to relate every question back to the role you want, not obnoxiously. How I'm going to relate it to what I want, I'm going to put attractions first. But there's also a couple other roles that I would be completely fine with doing. I'm just going to be like, I absolutely love the storytelling of Disney. Disney does an incredible job of telling a story, and every area you go has a story. There's not a single area without a background, and I really, my dream role which once again, I'm fine if I don't get this, but I would love to be a bellhop at Tower of Terror. Like, that is my favorite ride, almost. And just like the story that Tower of Terror conveys and what you feel when you walk in, and the cast members that are working it make you feel like you're in this Twilight Zone story, and I would love to do that, and I know that I can. But yeah, I'm not going to go like too heavy because they're going to ask about roles later, but just relating it back to that. Then they're going to ask work experience. They always do, just like any job. So I won't go into that. I will have to mention, or I feel like I will have to, I feel like it's right to mention that I did have to leave the company, but I'm gonna be sure to tell them why, and like I'm ready to make magic and, you know, make this dream come alive again, because I didn't get to the first time, and I'm just so excited to do that this time, which is true. And yeah, so then another question, a big one, there's like 4 big questions. Another big one is, what roles stood out to you the most? You know, what are your top 3? Something like that. Once again, this is going to be different, so I'm going to say attractions. I think you should go for whatever you want, but I will say that the 3 biggest roles you get, they give to CPs, college program people, sorry, you might want to put one of those 3. If you really don't want to work food service, I would put merch or attractions and then your other top one. If you really don't want to work attractions, I would make sure to mention the other 2. I just think it gives you a better shot at getting something that you would truly enjoy doing. And I also think there's a lot of hate about what you wouldn't want to do. I think that's fair. I mean, like, there are things in life that some people don't want to do, and people are like, then this program isn't for you. I understand that as well. I think it is what you make it, but everybody has preferences. I don't think that's an innately, like, bad thing to have. That's just me, though. So, obviously I'm going to talk about attractions and the storytelling ones in particular. Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror, you know, Pirates. What else? I mean, there's several, all of them, but the big ones, Jungle Cruise, things where the cast member truly has a role in creating that story. So obviously I'm going to, like, hammer in Tower of Terror because I love that. I'm really great at fast-paced work and ensuring safety. Big thing, safety. That's like the number 1 key, I'm pretty sure. Being able to bring that attraction to life and conveying that story to all of the guests that are visiting. You know, the first-time visitors, the people that have never been there, you are their impression of Disney World. And I think every world has that, but something about working a specific attraction and people coming back because they remember the cast members that brought that story to life, I think it's really important. So that's going to be my number 1. Next, I'm going to mention merchandise because that's another one of the big 3. I've done sales before. I know how to do sales. I'm great at upselling, and I'm great at ensuring everybody can find what they're looking for and doing product inventory and that aspect of things. That's going to be easy to talk about because I've done it. I have not figured out the 3rd one I want to talk about. I was kind of interested in custodial for a little bit just because I've heard great things about the independence and stuff, but we'll see if I say that. I don't know. Last time they told me to say 1 role, and I think that really put me out of anything that I wanted, because concierge is, like I said, not a frequent one. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully be able to get attractions. I'm really excited. And yeah, so another good question, they will ask you questions like relating back to the roles that you said. So I remember one time when I said concierge, I said, they asked me, what would you do if someone's yelling you at the desk and, you know, or sorry, no, someone beside you, one of the other cast members, is getting yelled at by a guest and you're dealing with someone on your own, and how would you handle that? So I know that one was asked when I said concierge, and I know that when you say something like attractions, they'll ask, you know, how do you deal with repeating the same phrase over and over again, and how would you, you know, mix that up? And I've already kind of thought, because I think it's important to think about what you're going to say before you say it. I was going to be like, you know, there's people's first times here. If you have a dull moment, you're putting that dull moment into people's minds. Like, Disney World is not a dull place. You're in the happiest place on earth, you know? Like, you can't, your point is to make people remember this. So it's important to note. I also heard, I don't think my friend got asked this, but I saw another video where someone said, and I hadn't heard this question, they give you a math question, you know, if you have three people, or sorry, not three parties, and how would you line them into the rows and stuff like that. So just be conscious that that could be a question. Merchandise could be, you know, if someone can't find a product, what would you do? Another attractions one is, what if a child is not tall enough to ride the ride? How would you handle that? You know, just be like, I'm so sorry, unfortunately you're not quite tall enough, but there is this ride that you are able to ride, and I absolutely love that ride. It's my favorite. You know, just, you don't need to, I'm so sorry you can't ride the ride, oh no, like what are we gonna, no. You give them another option and you make them feel excited to ride that ride. If they know that you like it, they will love it. I mean, that's how kids work, right? Like, if I'm into it, they're gonna want to do it. So yeah, I think that basically sums up most of the questions. It's going to be different per person. Your interviewer is going to be different. That's another thing to note. My interview last time was extremely professional. There was very few like cut up moments just from my interviewer. I tried to be as happy as I could, and I felt like I did a great job. Whereas Nicole, my friend, she had more of like a fun interview. There was a lot of cutting up, and so it just depends per person. I mean, yeah, that's really truly how it is. So yeah. Another big thing is questions for Disney. What questions do you have? They're gonna ask you if you have questions. Be sure to ask a question. That's professional. And yeah, so that's kind of it. I'm gonna come back to you on interview day. Thanks for watching, and keep watching. See you in just a minute, another day. So it is the night before my interview. Sorry I look crazy, I'm in my PJs. It's 10:17, April 17th. My interview is tomorrow, the 18th, at 10:30 in the morning. So they can call me 15 minutes before that, and it can last up to like an hour after that, something like that. So I'm really nervous, but I'm also getting like excited. So I'm really excited, and I'm excited to let you know if there's any new questions they asked this year. And I'm gonna start watching a couple more videos on preparing tonight, and probably in the morning when I wake up. So just checking in and updating you on how I feel. The second time around, I think I'm more nervous because I know what I have to lose, I guess. I really don't want quick service again, and I'm really nervous. I really don't want to work in food. So I think my top three, I might put merch first. I was going to do attractions, which I think I talked about a little bit. However, I think I want to do merch because I can go to all 4 parks and I can give away my shifts a lot easier. So that's something I'm kind of considering talking about more. But it's going to be like merch, attractions, and then probably concierge because I can relate it to my major. So I should be good with getting either any one of those 3 because attractions and merch are like 40% of the jobs anyway. So yeah, I'm just updating you, and I will see you all bright and early. Probably wake up at like 8:30. I get nervous, so yeah, I'll see you then. Good morning. It's the day of my interview. I didn't just wake up, but this is probably my first time speaking today, so I'm still getting there. It's 9:43 and my interviewer can call starting at 10:15. I'm getting a little nervous. T-minus 30 minutes, I guess, until I gotta lock in. I will update you a little closer to time. I'm just gonna run through some of the questions and then update. I added a couple questions from last time I spoke to y'all, so yeah, I'm gonna go work on this and I'll be right back. I have about 5 minutes until they can call, which they might not call until closer to 10:30, but I'm still getting nervous. I can't record the interview unless something has changed recently, which I'm sure it hasn't, so I'm just excited. Look at it sparkle. But yeah, so it is 10:11. I'm just gonna go through and start spieling again, and I'll probably see you after the phone interview if I had to guess. So wish me luck, please. Please help me. Okay, it's 10:25. Still haven't gotten it. Now this time I will for real see you whenever they call, which I guess will be closer to 10:30. So yeah, I'll be back. Okay. I'm so nervous. Okay, it is 10:51. I just got off the phone interview. It went great. I think her name was Monica, because she said it and she had a very strong accent, which is perfectly fine. I mean, yeah. But I thought I got her name right, but I didn't want to say it because I was afraid that I got it wrong. So I failed on that regard. She called right at 10:30, so it was about 20 minutes. However, she saw that I already did the program once, so I explained that, which that could be a little bit why my phone interview would be different than yours. However, there was no question asked that I wasn't prepared for, which, oh my gosh, she was really nice. I think she wasn't as like giddy and bubbly as some other people I've heard, but I'm very happy because she did not ask me really any questions that had to do with quick service. Really, and like she only asked questions about the 3 that I said. She was like, are you comfortable handling food for those merchandise roles that deal with it? I was like, I didn't say obviously, but obviously yeah, I am. I was just trying to emphasize how much I would love to do attractions or merch or concierge. So those are my 3. She was really great, and she was like, you probably know more about the program than I do. So she didn't feel like she had to ask a bunch of questions, which I was able to go into detail about why I had to leave the first time, which was great. I think it went great, and I think I probably got in. She even told me, I guess acceptance is in soon, because she was like, you'll know by next Friday, which typically they do rolling admissions, and it's Tuesday or Thursday or something like that, and it can be like a couple weeks depending on whatever. So I guess next Friday is like the last time they're accepting, which makes sense because people start moving in early next month, less than a month, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah, every question was like almost down the line, which maybe that's just because I knew how it was gonna work, but you shouldn't feel nervous. The second I picked up and like said hello, it was fine. She did actually talk a lot about attractions, which makes me hopeful, which I know, once again, it's need-based, so at the end of the day, if I don't get something, I don't think it's because of how I performed. That was a big issue I had last time, is that I was like, why? Why would I get it? But I also only said concierge. I don't know what I was thinking. That is not a common role. I thought I would shoot for it and I failed. So I'm really excited and I'm very hopeful this time. I think it went great. We talked about a couple scenarios with attractions. And if you feel comfortable doing this, and if you feel comfortable doing this, which I think they have to ask. Maybe they don't, I don't really know. But you know, anytime she'd bring up something, like when I talked about quick service, I was like, I think it's really important working for Disney in the future in my professional career to get expertise in other areas. So that's kind of how I was like, I don't want to work food again, please. But actually, I feel pretty confident that I'd probably get one of the 3. Yeah, but I definitely want attractions or merch. Concierge would be fun or great, but I don't think I'm gonna get it because she asked if I would prefer to work in the parks or a resort. I said parks this time. I said resort last time because I wanted concierge, so I think saying resort was already gonna tick me off of every other area that I wanted, really. So I'm really excited, and thank you for watching this silly little video, and I hope that maybe this helped you. I think her name was Monica or something. I could be totally wrong. She asked about if the kid couldn't ride the ride, what would you do, and if I had questions for her, and why DCP, roles that stood out, time with a difficult guest. Literally everything that's on the front of this page she asked. So yeah, it was a lot different than last time and a lot shorter than last time. So yeah, I guess I'll wait to do this video, or maybe I'll post it and then we'll do an updated whenever if I get accepted, or I'll post it on my Instagram. So go follow my Instagram and also go follow my TikTok. I made a TikTok and I'm like never make TikToks. So yeah, I'm excited and a little nervous. So thank you guys for sticking it out with me, and I'm excited for this next adventure, and it's gonna be a crazy ride, and I hope you're here for it because I'm trying to be here for it. So, I'm really scared. Bye everyone. See you real soon. Bye.